This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, is my co-host today as we talk about your life, your money, your relationships, your careers, and talk about you. Right in front of you. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. Some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. It's book launch week around Ramsey. The new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth, and How You Can Too, is selling at a record pace.
Dude, it's blowing, man.
May be the fastest selling book I've ever done. I've never seen anything
incredible.
Like it. It's pretty incredible. Thank you guys out there. We really appreciate you. It's Zoom. We got a big event tonight with George Camel, Rachel Cruz, and me. 150,000 people signed up to watch online. 1,500 will be live in the audience. It's completely free to watch online. It is called Building Wealth in 2022, and we're going to tell you how to really do it. Pretty simple stuff, obviously. It's what we are specialized in, putting the cookies on a shelf where even I can reach them. So, because I like the cookies and that kind of stuff. So it's a great metaphor. But so you can sign up for that if you want to be one of the people watching it online tonight. It starts at 7 p.m. Central Time at RamseySolutions.com/wealth. Well, we launched Borrowed Future. You were featured in the documentary Borrowed Future. Our goal with Borrowed Future was to stir up a holy ruckus and expose the misbehavior of the entire student loan debacle, from the higher ed people to the banks to the Navients to the Sally Mays to the freaking Congress that's lost their mind. The student loan thing is completely out of control. Borrowed Future has now been viewed by over 150,000 people and is booming too. Thank you guys for watching it. You can watch that on Amazon Prime anytime you'd like. And today it comes out, Navient, this from the New York Times, reaches a $1.85 billion deal to settle claims of predatory behavior. That's a lot of money.
$1.85 billion. Hey, it's really important that we note, Dave, they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's hilarious. This is one of the largest settlements I've ever seen in my life of anything the government has sued. Government sues somebody, they usually get a little money for the people they're suing on behalf of. $1.85 billion. And Mark Helene, Navient's chief legal officer, who's about as full of crap as anybody I've ever read, quote was, "The company decision to resolve these matters, which were based on unfounded claims, allows us to avoid the additional burden, expense, time, and distraction to prevail in court." Honey, you don't give up $1.85 billion with a B if you think there's a snowball's chance you're going to prevail in court. You might give up $100 million, but not $1.85 billion. That's a billion is 1,000 million.
It's a lot of money.
That's 1,800,000 million. Oh my gosh, 1,800 million.
I took a day off of work to go sit in court over a $200 ticket one time that I thought I was right on. $1.8 billion. No, it was somebody else. It was other kids.
Navient, which did not admit any fault in the settlement, said it did not act illegally. Of course you acted illegally. You don't give up $1.85 billion.
Just predators, man.
In your settlement if you didn't do that. Now here's how wild these figures are. Okay. Now to date, these numbers are a little bit old, so I will take a pass on this. But on my little cheat sheet here, to date, just under 4,000 borrowers, 250,000 people have applied for private student loan forgiveness.
Okay.
Under the 10-year private student loan forgiveness plan, okay? 4,000 people out of the 250,000 were actually granted the forgiveness.
Yeah.
At an average of $87,000 apiece. So here's the irony of this, okay? The entire private student loan forgiveness program has now forgiven way less than Navient.
See, they weren't bad people. They were
way
trying
less.
They're trying to be nice. This was their contribution to humanity.
They're just generous that way. These Navient people,
That's kind and lovely.
That little Sally Mae thing, that thing they had in Maui where they all had a little getaway to celebrate how many people they'd screwed, that really didn't come up. Oh, my God. Yeah, so the deal announced Thursday requires Navient to cancel $1.7 billion in private student loans, which is about 4x what the entire private student loan forgiveness program has ever done.
And they had a little bitty fine of another $100 million.
Yeah, $95 million in restitution, but they didn't do anything wrong.
That's right. They
didn't do anything wrong.
It's just...
Yeah, $1.7 billion in forgiven loans. That means they were proven to have screwed those people.
Yeah, taking advantage of people that didn't know what they were doing.
This is a black business we're in, people. This whole student loan thing. And if you lefties want to keep talking about forgiving student loans and the Biden administration is going to forgive student loans and all that, that's great. Before you actually enter that discussion with integrity, though, you have to stop making them.
Yeah, what's the plan there? That's like saying, hey, Sheila.
You're asking me?
I was just thinking, like.
Was that a rhetorical question? Okay.
Hey, John, the house is
kind of generally
flooding.
at the universe. What's the plan there,
what's the plan there? I don't understand it because.
We're going to keep making them so that there's more people that get forgiven.
We're going to forgive them January 1, and then all these students will enroll the next semester and.
Keep making them.
Hey, I did see this. I saw this data point today. 1 million fewer college students are enrolled this semester.
Well,
it's the lowest in 50 years.
Let me tell you what's happening big time. I mean, this Yale lawsuit came up this week, too, where there's about 10 or 15 of these Yale, MIT, Brown, they're all sued for colluding on their prices.
Yeah.
So higher ed's getting another black eye, especially the famous college,
right.
the muckety-mucks, right? They're getting another black eye on screwing their own people over, their own students over.
But you got 1 million people saying, I'm going to study online, I'm going to stay at home, I'm just going to get a job.
Well, you think about it. I mean, the guy called up here the other day from Michigan State and said, he goes, I just signed up for all my classes, and then they canceled them all and said they're all online. He goes, I want my money back.
Well, yeah, I'll go to a cheaper college.
Cancel them.
Yeah.
And go. If you're going to take online, don't pay all that price for that.
Absolutely.
Cancel them all, get your money back, and that's what's happening. These guys have forgotten that they are in the business of serving the student. Arrogant.
Yeah.
Beyond belief, and we're just going to COVID to shut it down, and we're going to charge you anyway.
So I'll never
and the
forget.
students are going, I don't think so. I think I'm just not going to come. Let's try that.
A consultant came and spoke to us. You may have even heard this story before. Came and talked to us at a university I worked at once and said that, told us it was a parable of some sort about a drill bit company that was selling drill bits and had a record drill bit year, and the CEO was talking about how many drill bits they'd sold, and they'd sold a bunch of drill bits and they were heroes. And then the president got up and quietly said, I want us to never forget, we're not in the drill bit business, we're in the hole making business. And somebody's going to come make a hole cheaper and faster and better than us than our drill bits. We better be careful. And higher education has to realize we're in the education business, not in the making ourselves look bigger and better business.
Well, and not making ourselves look like we are COVID politically correct.
Whatever.
We're all worried about the optics or
right.
politically correct on
These
something
kids
else.
are dying.
Maybe you ought to be teaching somebody something. I don't know. There's an idea. This is the Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host tonight. Tonight, we are doing Building Wealth 2022 with Rachel Cruz, George Camel, and I. We're going to talk about the fastest right way to build wealth. There's a lot of fast ways, but the fastest right way. There's a lot of slow ways, but the fastest right way. Tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time, it is sold out, has been sold out for some time, but you can't sell the internet out, so you can watch live online with a live stream completely free. And if you don't like what you see, we'll give you half your money back. It's completely free. So go to RamseySolutions.com/wealth and register, and we'd love to have you. All right, let's go to Kevin in Los Angeles. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks, Dave. Just a quick question. When choosing a mutual fund, how much weight should I give ratings from websites like Morningstar.com? So, for instance, I was looking at two different mutual funds, and their performance over the past 10 years, one of them looked like it had been doing slightly better than the other, but Morningstar gave it 3 stars where the other had 5 stars. Should I factor that in when choosing?
Morningstar's rating is risk-adjusted, and so they're pulling up the beta, the volatility of the fund, and adjusting on that probably. That's how they used to do it. I haven't subscribed to them in a long time. When I was back when I was in the business, and then when I first started on the radio, I kept Morningstar on my computer before there was an internet. We used to get CD-ROM updates quarterly on them. And so they're an old rating system. They've been rating mutual funds a long time. But if I remember correctly, they're risk-adjusted, and that may explain it. If you'll go pull what's called the beta is the statistical measure of risk. And you'll probably find that 3-star has a higher beta, that to get to a slightly better rate of return, it went through higher peaks and lower valleys. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that does make sense.
I'm guessing, but I'll bet you that's what you find.
Yeah, it looked like the other things that were factoring in were things like how often the fund manager shifted and stuff like that. So, like, not just volatility in the market of the fund, but like the volatility of the management of the fund.
They would look at that as well. That does make sense. So it could be that in addition to the beta. Now, here's the thing: if you're looking at fund volatility based on management, there's more and more of the funds have gone to a team management style rather than a singular rock star manager. That way they're not as dependent on that one guy for their future returns. In other words, if you had a history of 10 years of great returns and it was a rock star manager model, not a team model managing it, and the rock star guy leaves, well, the track record kind of leaves with him, right? But if you've got a team model and 2 of the 15 people running the fund that are the brains causing the return to happen over the last 10 years leave, well, you probably can say that history is probably valid for projecting into the future, common sense-wise anyway. And so a lot of the funds have gone away from rock star managers for that reason, and they've gone to team management because that validates their historical returns that way into the future and can project them into the future. But you can just look at that. I'll glance at that kind of stuff. I am mainly looking at the track record, and is there some reason that the track record isn't valid because the whole team left, or there's a complete turnover in style or a philosophy shift in the management or something like that? Unless there's something that invalidates the track record, I'm spending like 85% of my issue when I'm picking a fund on track record. I'll look at the volatility, I'll look at the other stuff, I'll look at the expense ratios, I'll look at all the other stuff, but it's a very small percentage of how much time I spend on that kind of thing. And Kevin, I'll tell you one other thing. The fact that you're asking these questions means you're going to win. And let me give you the reason why. There's a group of actuarial nerds that studies retirement stuff. And it's like 17 initials. I can't remember the name of it. But I was looking at one of their studies not long ago, and they found that 78% of the predictive reason for someone becoming wealthy using an investment is savings rate. Now, let me translate that. What that means is 78% of the way you can predict whether someone makes a bunch of money in an investment is if they actually invest. That's what that means.
No. How expensive was that study? Jeez.
And the point being, though, that this group of nerds figured out that this nuanced stuff of a beta or an expense ratio or team versus rock star.
Doesn't matter. Put money into a retirement
If you
account.
just will freaking do it, you're just like going to win, okay? I mean, compared to the people who overanalyze and don't do anything, right? And so you don't get caught up in paralysis of the analysis, Kevin. Get her done, baby. That's the moral of the story. So I spend a certain amount of time in looking at this stuff, and if one of them starts tanking on me, I may move it, but I'm just putting it in there.
Yeah.
When in doubt, swing the bat or you ain't going to hit the ball. I mean, this is like rock. It was just the funniest thing I ever read because people in the business, they all get mad at Dave Ramsey because he's too primitive and he doesn't actually understand, doesn't have the intellect to grasp all of the nuances of the investing world. Right. Yeah, obviously I don't. But the truth is 78% has to do with whether you actually did it.
I saw that the other day. Someone was asking some fitness people, what's the best workout? And finally one guy snapped and said, anyone that you will do. That's the best one.
The one you don't quit
doing.
Just
keep doing it.
The one that you don't quit doing.
Get in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some genius advice we're doling out here, man.
I'm telling you, we get the big bucks. John's in Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, guys, how are y'all?
Better than I deserve, man. How can we help?
Good. All right. So me and my wife are both 26, under 26. I'm 24. She's 23. We are expecting our first child, a girl.
Woo!
And, yeah, we're super excited.
Life's getting ready to rock.
I know. I'm telling you. But so we're both still on our parents' insurance, and it's great insurance on both sides. We're wondering, how do we get the baby covered, and what do we need to do to get set up so that when the baby comes, it's taken care of as far as insurance?
Ooh, so does your parents' insurance cover your maternity delivery?
It covers everything up to delivery. It covers all the prenatal stuff, but as soon as the baby is born, it won't cover our dependent then. So,
but I mean, you and your wife are on two different insurance plans right now, right?
Yes.
And both of them are that way.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I believe so.
Do y'all work?
We do. We both work.
Do you not have insurance at work?
No, sir. We're both working for companies that are small enough that they haven't gotten health insurance programs yet.
Okay, two different things then that we need to address. One is, I don't think you're going to get insurance on a pregnancy that's already on the way.
Nope.
Okay?
Okay.
That's known as a pre-existing condition. And so you can check with your insurance while you're shopping. So first thing is, I want you to start shopping for health insurance for you and your wife in the open market, and you need to buy it. You're like grown-ups with a kid and stuff. So you need to get off mommy's plan. All right? Obviously, mommy's plan has too much limitations and doesn't cover you, and a normal plan will cover normal labor and delivery these days. So just call. You can jump on with our ELPs for health insurance, shop around, get the best deal in your state, in your area for insurance for a young couple with a baby, and you just need your own health insurance, and that'll cover the next kid. This kid's going to come out of pocket. What do you guys make?
Not a whole lot at this point. But we've got savings, and we've.
How much savings do you have?
About $5,500 total.
Okay. I want you to see if you can schedule a meeting with the hospital administrator where the baby will be delivered now. Go down and meet with them and say, I want to prepay because I'm having to pay cash for this. How much of a discount do I get if I prepay? You will usually find a 50 to a 70% discount if you prepay in cash, because labor and delivery is one of the few times people like going to the hospital. And so it's actually PR for them. They like for you to come there, and they like to get prepaid because otherwise they don't get paid usually. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Welcome to the Ramsey Show. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Rafael is with us. Hey, Rafael, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Welcome. Where do you live?
I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
Awesomeness. Welcome to Nashville. That's
Thank
a great
you.
town. And all the way over here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
I paid off $77,300 in 2 years and 7 months.
Way to go. And your range of income during that time?
It started off at $52,500, and right now I still have to fill out my 1099 form, but I'm guessing it's between $85 and $100.
Good for you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Way
you.
to go, man. What do you do for a living?
I am a statistician at the South Carolina Department of Public Safety, and I'm also a business owner as well.
What do you do? What kind of business have you got?
It is an eBay store where I go yard selling and thrifting and then flip it online. Yes, sir.
What's doing the best? What are you making the most on flipping?
Ooh, I might get in trouble if I answer that.
Okay.
They're
Like
both-
somebody
they're
else
both really
will
well.
go do it. Somebody else will go do it. I won't make you reveal your trade secrets. But I was talking to a lady the other day, a single mom, who started doing that, and she was buying used clothes for a dime.
Yeah,
and
that's-
flipping them for $1.50.
That's one way to do it.
I mean, little bitty numbers, but huge margins.
Yeah, it adds up.
And she's making like $10,000 a month profit. I mean, she's just killing it, man. Just killing it. Way to go!
Thank you, sir.
Look at you. What kind of debt was your $77,000?
It was student loans and a personal loan. The breakdown, I believe, is $66,413 in student loans, and then the difference $10,887 in the personal.
Okay. So, what's your degree in?
I have math degree, 2 math degrees, and a biostatistics degree. I went to a bunch of school for 10 years. So
I think he's smart.
Yeah, I can.
I think he's kind of smart.
I think stubborn is the better word.
Up, Dave. I can feel it.
I think Rafael's a smart guy. Way to go, man.
Thank you,
Look
sir.
at you. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, so after all of that math and all that debt, somehow that's oxymoronic as it can be.
Yep.
You look up and something happens 2 years and 7 months ago, and you said, "Game on! I'm cleaning this mess up." Tell me
sir.
about it.
So, flashback to my first graduate school for my math degree. That was when my parents first gave me the Total Money Makeover book. And, I read through it, and I wasn't paying my loans at that time. And, I read it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this makes sense. I agree with all this. I don't have a credit card. I don't spend too much. And at the time when I first read it, to me, it was a light read.
It is a light read.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very light read.
And
especially for people like you.
Correct.
For a statistician.
And flash forward to my last school that I went to, and when I graduated there, that's when, of course, the payments kick in, and that's where real life hits. And I was fortunate and blessed enough to land a job right after graduation. That's the Department of Public Safety, and great job. And however, I was making the regular payments, not knowing where those payments were going. And I guess, you can say I was living the normal life of just doing month by month. And then the pandemic hit, and student loan interest was deferred indefinitely. And at that moment, I thought to myself, man, I could either stay at home and play video games, all the social life is gone, or I can do something else and make more money. And at the same time, that's when 2 things happened. The first thing is when I came across your YouTube channel, And that was the real one that hit me, because I started seeing all these people calling in about their student loans and a bunch of people panicking, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, my loan's not that bad. But then the more videos I listened, I got hooked immediately. I started thinking to myself, maybe mine are that bad, I just don't know about it. And and I logged into my account for the first time and realized how much interest I was losing, or how much money I was losing to interest. And I was like, whoa, okay, I've been in school for 10 years for math, and I'm just figuring out these numbers now.
Yeah, that mathematician brain went, whoa.
Yeah, it's a little embarrassing, but it was good for me.
Okay, so tell me about that, because that's a question people have, is the math is complicated. It's hard. How does somebody with the horsepower you got upstairs, what's the gap between what you know theoretically and the application in your own house at your time? And I ask you this, like, I know marriage counselors that get divorced, right? So it's that same kind of thing. What's that gap?
I mean, mathematically it all made sense, but I was also a college student at the time, and like most college students, you just don't worry about it. You just send in the check. So it's, there's a smart side of you, and then there's just the normal person that you are. So
you brought those together.
Yeah, I brought those together, and
so game on.
That game on. So and at the same time as your YouTube videos, that's when I started watching, videos after work about this reselling business. And so shout out to Part-Time Pickers and the Cincinnati Picker. They're the two godfathers for me that taught me this business. And just like I got hooked onto y'all's YouTube channel, I got hooked onto that business as well. And I spent 6 hours after work just binge watching and watching them how to do this trade. And 6 months into the pandemic, after watching both y'all for half a year, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this myself. And it was slow at the start, but oh my gosh, like I love it.
Good for you.
Yeah, both
done,
y'all's
man.
channels are
all right.
awesome.
So what do you tell people now that you've done it all? You're actually a practitioner. It's no longer theory. You knocked it off. You paid out $77,000. What is the secret to getting out of debt?
First of all, you got to know what mess you got yourself into. Once again, like
you gotta admit there's a problem.
Admit there's a problem.
It's like 12-step. First, we have to admit there's a problem.
That's the hard one, because you sending these checks, you're thinking to yourself, it'll go away. But then you look at what's actually happening, and you're like, this is not going to go away for 10 years. So, first of all, just identify the problem and just be true to yourself and be like, all right, I'm going to get this done. Here's the problem. Here's when I want to finish it, and it's just reap what you sow.
And the good news is the math's not complicated.
No. Yeah.
They try to make it look like it is. I think that's
Big Hairy Chunks pays the thing off, man. That's that simple.
Hey, as a fellow nerd, there's nothing more humbling than picking up a book and thinking, oh, this is a light read.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, you go,
it kicks your butt.
You go, that's a way deeper read than I ever gave credit for.
That light read guy kicked my butt.
Good for you for the humility and for just getting after it, man.
I'm proud of you, man.
Yes.
So who were your biggest cheerleaders?
There's a long list. First and foremost, of course, is my faith. I worked like 14 hours a day, if you include my office job and the reselling business. Sorry. And there's just too much that happened that wasn't coincidence. The fact that I found y'all and the thrifting videos at the perfect time. And just wait. I'm not a morning person, but these yard sales start at like 5 a.m.
You became one quick, didn't you?
I became one.
Yeah,
and
you did.
There's only one person that can put that fire.
Yeah.
So, so definitely credit goes to God. Of course, my parents. They were a little suspicious when I first started this reselling business, because I was bringing in a lot of stuff into my apartment, and they were like, what the something are you doing? And but once they started seeing the results, they were definitely on board.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, they never shamed me about it.
Yeah, and they're here to cheer you on today.
Yes,
That's very cool. Well, proud of you, brother.
Yeah,
we got a copy. Go ahead.
I also have Caitlin, she's my yard sale buddy. She went out with me for a year, just yard sailing, and she's the one who wanted to thrift with me at first and took me out and exposed me. So definitely to her as well.
All right, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's your next chapter in your story for sure, brother.
Thank you, sir.
That's some good math to do, and
easy math still,
and also Total Money Makeover. So count it down, Rafael. Right. $77,000 paid off in 2 years and 7 months. Let's hear your debt-free spree.
2, 1. I'm debt-free.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we talk about your life and your money. Brandy is with us in Sacramento. Hi, Brandy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. It's so nice to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
So me and my husband plan on leaving California in 5 years when I can retire early from the state and start collecting my pension. So we have sold 2 of our 3 homes and have that money just sitting in the bank. And with interest rates expected to rise and inflation going through the roof, where should we invest that money for the next 5 years? We want to have it, available when we're ready to buy out of state.
Yeah.
But
if it were me, I would put a portion of it, if not all of it, in just a simple index fund, an S&P 500 fund. Okay? Now, what that is a fund that follows the stock market exactly. It's not going to do better than the market or worse than the market. It's going to be exactly following the market. Now, not the Dow Jones Industrial Average, but it's going to follow what the real market is doing, the overall market. It's the top 500 stocks, according to Standard & Poor's, and that's the S&P 500, okay? And so I do that when I'm parking money, and it's a conservative, mid-range mutual fund investment. It's very predictable, and it has no commissions on it, so you're not going to get, I don't mind paying a commission when I'm going long term, but when I'm just sticking in there for a little while. And I'll do that sometimes for a year or 2 years, not even 5. But when you do it for 5, you're pretty safe because the market's track record over 5-year periods of time is very, very good to make some money. And you don't have to make much here to do better than the bank because the bank just doesn't pay anything.
Yeah.
And the good news is you're investing basically in companies that are inflation, meaning the things that they make and that they provide the prices are going up on them, so they're reflected in your returns. So that's what you call a hedge against inflation when you are investing in the things that are the elements of inflation. That makes sense?
Yes, it does.
So, but now here's the thing. What you ought to do is you ought to do a little bit of study on that and see what the track record is and say, okay, how many 5-year periods of the S&P make money and how many lose money? And you go, oh, whoa, I could lose money. Yeah, you could. But what's the likelihood based on that? I don't know that number off the top of my head, by the way. It's the vast majority make money, though. Probably 90% of the 5-year periods make money. But 10% of the time you could lose money. Well, based on that, I don't want to put it all in there. I'm going to put some in CDs. Okay, that's fine. But CDs are going to pay you 1-2% even if rates go up. And the rates are not going to go up to the inflationary levels because we're sitting, we may see some double-digit inflation. And so if you're not making at least 10% on your money, you're not going to be ahead of inflation. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking the risk of inflation kicking your butt if you don't invest aggressively enough. If you invest too aggressive, you're taking the risk of actually losing the money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's why I do. That's what I would do with it. It's what I do with mine. I just park it there, and then any money that it makes, you don't have any. It hardly has any turnover ratio, so there's hardly any taxes on it until you pull the money out. And then if you did make some money and you pull the money out, it'll be taxed at your capital gains rate rather than your ordinary income rate. So it's even tax advantaged in that sense. So, good question. Thanks for joining us. Colette is in Tallahassee, Florida. Hi, Colette. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so I'm calling because me and my husband are in baby step 2. We're going to be done with that by next month. Luckily, at that same time, we're going to be getting a bonus from work, so that will help fund towards baby step 3. And so we will be out of baby step 3 by March. So my question is, we're kind of struggling with figuring out what to do next after we've put 15% into retirement. We don't have any kids, but we do have a mortgage, but it's a 30-year. So we're trying to debate if it's worth refinancing if we plan to have a kid and maybe move out in like 3 to 5 years.
Yes, it's worth refinancing. If your interest rate is high and the break even is there, what's your interest rate?
Yeah, 3.5.
Might not be worth it. So what's your balance?
Yeah,
what's your loan balance?
It's 206,783.
Okay. So if you went from 3.5 to 2.5, you'd save 1% or $2,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
If your refinance costs are $3,000, you would break even in 1.5 years. And your refinance costs won't be $3,000. They'll be more like $5,000.
5 or 6, yeah.
So your break-even period is probably going to be like 2.5 or 3 years. And if you're going to move in 3 years, then maybe it doesn't make sense. In which case, you still would pay down extra on the mortgage. You don't have to refinance to pay extra on it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
That's what we were debating.
I'm not debating anything. Just chunk it on there. It's baby step 6 is what you're supposed to be doing. Because you're not going to lose the money. I'm not telling you to spend the money. The money's not going away. It's going into your house. And when you sell your house, when you get ready to move, they give you a check. And all that money comes back to you.
The best part.
Yeah, and you save that interest on that all that time. You save 3.5% on your money, and you can't even put it in the bank for 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
So pay your house off, kiddo.
Pay it off.
Pay it off fast as you can, and if you do move, you can just take that money out of there and move it to the next one. If you don't move, then get it paid off, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the next 3.5 years. None of us do. Your best laid plans of mice and men may happen, and they may not. So, good question. I don't know. I guess I do the same thing. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of this stuff. My mind plays those tricks too, but why would the process change just because we're going to move? I guess. So instead of paying off my mortgage, I'm going to do what with it? Spend it? No, I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in an investment.
Yeah, I think there's the I don't want to put money in my house and then I might lose it if the house goes down in value. I think
you're going to lose it anyway.
That's the fear.
If the house goes down in value, the amount owed on it does not affect the value.
Right.
So if it goes down in value below the amount you owe, you have to write a check for the difference.
That's right.
So it doesn't affect that. It doesn't cause it to go down in value because you don't owe much on it. Matter of fact, it causes it to go up in value because you're a little bit stronger in your negotiating skills.
Yeah, you can sit on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's just people are thinking about selling a house after they bought a house in 10 or 11 or 12.
I guess it's hard to try to pay something off emotionally
when I know I'm about to turn around.
If I'm going to turn around and flip it, I guess that's it. I don't know, but I
also think, Dave, I think we are in a weird moment in history right now where people are making these plans. We're kind of obsessed with, I got to go do something. I've got to move. I've got to do something because the world's shaking underneath us. And there's something about being still.
Existential crisis.
That's right. Yeah. And the first thing we do when we have existential crisis, we run. And that's often not the right move. Is you got to sit and assess. And so, man, I want to see people be still, pay off your house, and just let whatever's shaking out, let it shake out, man. Unless you're in California, you can leave. Right. Like our friend Pat. If you're going to get out of here, get
Too
out.
late. They already knew that.
That's right. That's right.
Good gosh. Oh, the number of people that have left Michigan, California, and New York. Have you seen those migration maps?
I saw the maps, yeah. You know, it's funny. It didn't occur to me, this is human migration. Like this happened all throughout history where big swaths of people move here or move there for various reasons. That's exactly what's happening with the numbers we're talking.
And politics causes it.
Yeah.
Economics
tyranny
causes
and oppression
it.
and jobs.
The weather causes it.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of people that left New Orleans and never went back after Katrina.
Junk, man.
There are Cajun restaurants all over the United States because of Katrina. And it just really did happen. I mean, it's like for real. And because, I mean, the number of people that moved into Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama.
In Houston, right across the street.
To get away from the storm, and then just never went back.
That's
and
right,
then just never went back. I mean, that's in the Dust Bowl in the 30s. John Grisham's book, he did a fiction book called Painted House, but it's the whole outline of the Dust Bowl and the Arkansas, Oklahoma, cotton is just gone about the time Henry Ford gets everything rolling. And so these plants are popping up in Detroit. And all these hillbillies moved to Detroit to work the plants. That was a migration that never went back. That's why there's rednecks in Detroit. In case you were wondering.
The moral of that story.
This is The Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show is my co-host today as we talk about your relationships, your work, your money, and you. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jack's with us in San Antonio, Texas. Hey, Jack, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, Dave. How about you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Man, it's so good to talk to you. I'm a huge fan.
Well, I'm honored. How can we help? Thank you for your service. I see on my screen you're an Air Force officer.
I am. I'm a brand new academy grad. I'm a second lieutenant down here in San Antonio. So I went to the academy, so I've had exposure to the military for the past 4 years, came from a military family. One of the most frustrating things to me about being a member of the military is seeing how heavily young military members are marketed debt, things like credit cards and loans. You had a midshipman the other day that was marketed the cadet loan from Navy Fed. I can't tell you how many people I know that are in the $30,000 range of debt because of that thing.
That thing sucks.
You got John with you. Yeah, it does. All of you know that financial problems are one of the leading causes of depression. And the leading cause of death in the military in 2022 is suicide. Well, not 2022 yet, but in the last decade, suicide's been one of the leading causes. And depression is one of the leading causes of suicide. And financial crises are one of the leading causes of depression. And so my question to you is how, as a young military member, can I, in a way, be a disciple of Christ and a disciple of your teachings to hopefully keep my comrades from falling into that? I mean, I've read all your books. I know where to start. I haven't done FPU yet. I need to. But it's just really challenging being in a culture of depressed people that are in a lot of debt. And I want help. I'm here to serve, and I feel like I can serve them immensely more than I might be able to even serve the country.
Well, man, first and foremost, man, I applaud your heart, and there's not a lot of hearts of service like that, and so I'm grateful for you. And I'm glad that you're looking at these problems at the 30,000-foot view. That some of these policies that sometimes are quick fixes to try to help a thing turn into long-term systemic problems. And I think you're exactly right. I when I look at mental health and I back out 30,000-foot view, one of the cornerstones of a lack of good mental health is not being in control or not having autonomy to make decisions for yourself. And when you owe somebody money, you can't do that. So, man, a couple of things come to mind, and Dave, I'd love to get your wisdom here. I would be careful about drawing conclusions from suicide to debt. What's going to happen is, as a young officer who's just out of school, when you get on some of those crusades, if you will, without being fully informed or putting people on blast in that way, saying this is causing people to die, that's a good way to get tossed out of a room real quick as a young guy, right? I would love to see you lead by example, teaching an FPU, to go through the class and then lead an FPU class for your cadets. The somebody who walks the talk. And when you see somebody hurting, you hand them a copy of the book. We'll even send you a couple of copies you can pass out to some of the people on base with you. But what you're gonna find as a young leader, people are gonna watch what you do way more than they're gonna listen to the words coming out of your mouth. And the hard thing is you're going to want to talk and be angry and be indignant. I want to see you live this out.
Yeah.
Right. I appreciate that wisdom.
So the stats that you're quoting are accurate. The third largest cause of discharge, dishonorable discharge from the military, is financial irresponsibility. And there is a huge tie between people leaving the military and the mental health situation and the financial situation. It's a battle readiness problem. When mama's at home about to get their car repoed, that interferes with your brain mechanism that you're supposed to be using in battle.
Correct.
And so it really creates a dangerous situation, and it's one of the reasons the military has to a degree leaned in on it. The chaplaincy program, if you didn't know, Jack, has access to Financial Peace University and teaches a military version of it. And you can check in with those guys and run along beside them if you want to and begin to teach the class. I would just tell you this. Out of all the years we've worked with the military, and we work with them a lot, all the branches, one of the most often heard things I hear most often is that someone in the military says, hey, I got my money straightened out because the chaplain or the officer led Financial Peace University. The second most often heard thing is, hey, my officer who serves me as my leader loves me and has advised me on a lot of things in my life. My officer spoke into my marriage. My officer spoke into my money, and I learned how to get out of debt because Lieutenant so-and-so, Colonel so-and-so spoke into my life. And but they earned the right to do that because of the type of leader that they were, not their position. And some of the most competent, service-oriented leaders that are unbelievably humble that I have ever met are some of the most senior people in the military that I've ever met. I mean, I know there's some turkeys out there too, but I'm telling you, man, I've walked into rooms where there's 8,000 people in the room. I'm getting ready to speak to them, and the guy comes up to me that's kind of dressed down, but I look on his shoulder and I see what he's got there on his shoulder, and he's running that whole stinking thing. And I've talked to everybody else for 45 minutes before I got there, and I just get to meet him for a second, and he didn't want to bother me.
That's a true servant, right?
Yeah, I mean, they just the whole vibe on this guy, you know, and that's, if you're that guy, Jack, they're going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And you've got the chance to have influence that way by earning that influence, what John was saying. You're the right kind of dude, man. I'm so happy that you're serving the United States of America. I'm proud to, as a taxpayer, to pay your payroll.
That's right.
You're a good man.
And I think he called something out that's important to note. There is a suicide problem in the military.
Oh, for sure.
Got to take care of those folks and make it care accessible to them and provide a culture where they feel okay going to get help. And all of our servicemen and women need to know that there are entire industries set up, whether it's the private student loan stuff.
They know it. If you leave the base, any base in the U.S., if you leave the base, They're stupid on both sides of the road for the next 2 miles.
Oh, my gosh.
As soon as you leave the base.
Don't.
It's like stupid, just lined up down through there. Every dumb human trick in the world is right there.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
For
it.
18-year-olds left home for the first time on their first paycheck.
That's right.
It's just predatory.
Yeah.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
Well, everybody's talking about crypto. Everybody's talking about nothing down real estate. Everybody's talking about Robinhood and GameStop and all these other ways to get rich quick. There's a lot of ways to get rich quick, but there's really only one right way to get rich fast. We're going to talk about all of it tonight, the wrong ways, the right ways, and everything else. And if you want to join us, you can do so at a free live stream this evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. There'll be about 1,500 folks in the sold-out event, 1,600 folks. But if you want to watch online, you'll be joining about 150,000 of your closest friends doing so. And you can watch it for free at RamseySolutions.com/wealth. And you put in your email address, and it'll allow you to watch the whole thing free. RamseySolutions.com/wealth for this evening. And it's all about launching the brand new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, where we teach you the quickest, right way to become a millionaire. Sue is with us in Springfield, Illinois. Hi, Sue. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello there.
Hi, what's up?
Well, I am 75 years old. I recently retired a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
What were you doing?
I was working for the government.
Okay, cool.
You didn't want to keep working for them? Really?
No, I'm done with that.
That's a shocker, Sue.
I put some money together, though, in the deferred comp plan. It's qualified money, and I'm planning to roll it over as soon as possible, get it out of their hands.
Good.
And I know you say that it's good to use aggressive growth fund, but I was wondering, since I'm 75, should I be using such aggressive funds?
Okay, how much is in your 457?
About $1.2 million.
Look at you, girl.
Sue.
I'm so proud of you. I love it.
Thank you.
And how much is in your other 401ks and other stuff?
I'd say about $400,000.
Okay. All right. Cool.
What's your house worth?
Oh, it's a small house. Probably at the most, it'd probably be $80,000 or $90,000.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. All right.
But I'm debt free. I've been debt free for 50 years.
You're just a lo-fi millionaire. That's
50
all.
50 years?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You are amazing.
I don't like loans. I hate interest.
I love you. You're awesome. I'm debt free for just 50 years is all.
I'm just
a
lo-fi.
Okay,
small
so
flex millionaire.
here's the thing. If you spread your investments across growth and income, aggressive growth, and international are standard for mutual funds. Sit down with a SmartVestor Pro, and they can show you the risk analysis on that of how many times in the past 30 years would that mix have caused you to have a down year. They can chart that out for you, and you can learn. So you're a student, I can tell, and you study that and you learn that. If that scares you, if the number of times that mountain and valley on the graph goes too low to suit you, in other words, you feel risky to you, then take the aggressive growth out of the mix and put a balanced fund in there.
Balanced, okay.
And that will calm this whole portfolio way down.
Okay.
You want to calm it down even further? Take the overseas fund, the foreign fund, the international fund completely out, because you will see when you look at the data on it that it's had more down years than all the other three put together.
Okay.
So that's the way to look at it, because all we're doing here is calming the thing down. Here's the thing. Even if you stayed with the original mix with $1.27 million, the only thing you're going to see is just some numbers move around. It's not going to affect your life. It might go up to 1.5, and then it might go down to 1.4, and then it might go up to 1.7, and then it might go down to 1.5. And you might see it move around like that over the years while you're living out of the income on it. It's $100,000+ a year coming to you if you want it to. And you'll still be just fine with all of that. But you may, you're just going to have the numbers riding a bit of a roller coaster, and you'll only be as emotional about it as you allow yourself to be. Okay. So here, let me give you an example, okay? Let's try this. Let's put the $1,270,000 in the middle of the kitchen table. And if I burn $200,000 of it with a lighter, that would get you really riled up.
Yeah.
If I burn $1 of it, you would go, that's kind of dumb, but that was weird, and it didn't bother you a bit, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so my point is this thing goes up and down. That's the feeling you're getting. And if you understand it's going up and down, but it's not affecting your life, it's more like burning $1 of it.
Okay.
If you can have the emotions as it goes up and down, because it's really all you're dealing with is your emotions, because the actual mathematical facts will be that you're not going to run out of this money. You're not going to outlive this money. Not doing the stuff we're talking about anyway. And not the way you've lived, and not who you are, and all of that. I mean, if we just said, you start at what rate of just spending it without making any money on it at all, would it go? I mean, would you still have money at 95 over 20 years? Divide that by 20, and you'd still be okay. And we're not even talking about something that's stupid. So you're going to be just fine. You are an absolute amazing rock star of financial planning. You're a multi-millionaire. You're just amazing.
Thank you.
At 75 years old, what was your position with the government? What did you do for a living?
I worked with insurance.
What's that mean? What did you do with insurance? Were you the commissioner of insurance?
Oh, no. I was an examiner.
Okay.
Examined insurance companies.
You did insurance for the government.
Yeah, she did examine the companies, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Outstanding.
Regulatory.
Like the IRS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you never made a huge pile of money. You just were really, really good at saving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frugal. I don't want to be called cheap.
But close.
Yeah.
But you had a ringside seat to knucklehead business leaders over the years, didn't you?
Oh, some, yeah.
Oh, some.
I can't imagine getting
stories?
crossways with Sue. She could pencil whip you. Oh my gosh. Sue, you're great. Sit down with a SmartVestor Pro. Let them walk you through what some of your options are and what they would have looked like for the last 40 years. You get some historical data. Do one of your examinations that you're used to doing, but this time do it on mutual funds, and get yourself a comfort level where you understand what you're doing. Don't do it because they said do it. Don't do it because I said do it. But I think you're going to be just fine if you go with the standard 4. If you want to calm it down a little bit, flip that aggressive off of there. flip in a balanced, and that'll calm it down a little more. But you're going to be just fine. There's no reason you need to be dumbing this money down. You got all kinds of margin, all kinds of wiggle room because of the way you've lived your life. You've lived like no one else, and now you can live and give like no one else. And I want you to find something to go spend $100,000 on.
Yeah, go spend some of this.
I want you to, I don't know whether it's a trip around the world after COVID calms down or whatever. I don't know what it is, but there's something you've always wanted to do. And I want you to get some joy from this money that you've done such a good job with. And it wouldn't hurt to have a little generosity mix in. I suspect you're already a generous person, though. Wow. That's powerful.
I was just saying, that's the reason we do this, right?
That's an everyday millionaire, a baby steps type millionaire. She didn't do it because we taught her, so she's not technically a baby steps millionaire, but she started from nothing, worked for the government as an examiner in the insurance department, 50 years with no debt.
Right.
And this is where you end up. 1.6 million plus her house.
Incredible.
This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Daryl is with us. Hi, Daryl. How are you?
How you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve, man. Welcome. Where do you live?
I'm from Bloomington, Indiana.
Cool. Welcome to Nashville. And here to do a debt-free scream, how much did you pay off?
I paid off $136,950.
Good for you. And how long did this take?
56 months and 24 days.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
68 to 79.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Work for a company called Cook medical device company.
Very cool. Yeah. What kind of debt was this 137?
A little bit of everything. A cell phone, a couple credit cards, 401k loan, personal loans, a legal bill, and the biggest one was IRS bill also, and a Parent Plus loan is the biggest.
Ah, okay. All right. How much of the 137 was Parent Plus?
64,000.
Okay. So half of it.
Yeah.
All right. So you had quite a collection there. You were pretty normal.
Very normal, yes.
Yeah. All right. And so what happened 5 years ago that blew this normal up?
Well, I became single, and that kind of shook me up a little bit.
There's the legal bill.
Yeah. So I got, exactly. I had debt before, and then after I became single, I had my own debt onto that too. So that kind of accumulated. And I started listening to your show, if I remember correctly, probably in the spring of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And went to an FPU class in the fall of 2018. Mm-hmm. And then I started dialing into budget and all that kind of stuff.
So in classic engineer fashion, you go, there's got to be a formula, and I don't know it. I've got to go find the formula.
Exactly, yes. Yep. Follow the process.
Yep. Yeah, engineers, number one career category of the millionaires that we study.
Yeah.
They follow processes. And this process is pretty clean and pretty simple to understand, but just getting the human beings to actually do a clean and simple thing is the trick. And you did it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very, very well done. All right. So you go into the Financial Peace University class, and here we stand 5 years later. Voila. Not really. But, I mean, that's a long run, right?
It was a grind. Yeah, it was.
How'd you stay
hard.
with it?
Well, being an engineer, I'm very consistent. I'm pretty self-motivated, but it was tough. It was a grind. I had my kids that ride me, cheer me on, and help me out.
But you were grinding and healing at the same time, too. That's doubly hard, right?
Yeah. It was tough. Yep.
What kept you going?
My faith, for sure. My faith. That was a big part of it. and just praying, being with my kids when I could. So it was tough, but a grind.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. I've never been debt-free since I got out of college and started working back in 1985.
Wow. And now you're free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, working on my looking on baby step 3. I should have had that done in March.
Yeah. How's it feel to be free?
Feels great.
You got a whole bunch of crap in your rearview mirror, don't you?
I do. Yeah. It really feels nice to finally put money, in the bank for myself. For
Going forward, yeah.
Amen. Okay, so you're a Financial Peace University graduate, an engineer that understands processes. You pay off $137,000 in 5 years, basically, a little less than 5 years. What do you tell people the key is to getting out of debt?
It's definitely the budget. I used to track my expenses, but that's different than budgeting. So a lot of times you track your expenses, and at the end of the month, you're like, wow, where'd all my money go? But I didn't really have a plan, and I didn't budget. And when I first started budgeting, when I went through the FBU class, you said how many times about when you do a budget, and Rachel said this too, that it's like you get a raise. And it was like, wow, I got extra money here once I paid attention to where things were going. And
if I make it behave before it leaves instead of looking at it after it leaves.
Exactly, yeah.
Tracking the expenses is too late.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
you've got to make it behave before it leaves, and that's make it do what it's supposed to do. Work towards the goal and crack the whip on it. Yeah. Good for you. So the budget. Anything else?
Well, you got to be consistent, and of course the process works. The baby steps work. The plan works. And being an engineer, I love processes, so it was pretty easy. I wouldn't say easy for me, but as far as staying on track, although it was a grind.
simple, but not easy.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Can I ask you a hard question?
Sure.
You can just say, hey, I don't want to answer that question. One of the biggest challenges of somebody in your situation is you can be grinding on something and look around and it's pretty lonely. Who walked alongside you in this process?
God, for sure. One of the things I do every morning is I read 3 chapters out of the Bible, which you can get through the Bible in 1 year if you do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm on my 10th year, by the way, of doing that. So I'm very happy with that. So that's a big part of it. My kids, I have some very close friends that help me get through it.
Fantastic.
One of the ministers at my church, I talk to him a lot about it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, hey, kudos to you for understanding. I got to have people walk alongside me. Too many men bury their head in that deal, and you did, and I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, especially the last couple of years with COVID and all that.
Yeah, it's hard.
I didn't go anywhere, basically. I would go to work, come home, and I got my MBA during that time frame the last couple of years.
Oh, why not?
Because why not, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a hero, man. Congratulations.
Man, you're incredible. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. I'm sure your kids are proud of you.
They are, and they're all debt-free, and they're walking the plan, too. So.
I love it. And they all came with you to cheer you on.
They're here, yeah. Yep.
All right. And so how old are they? We're not going to pull them up because they're not kids. They're grown-ups. But
sure.
How old are they? And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. How old are the names?
Samantha's 28. She's the oldest. My son, James, the bearded wonder, he's 25. And my youngest son, Jonathan's 21, and he's currently in school at Purdue as an engineer.
Ah, okay.
And you get the legacy change here, right?
Yeah, they're fantastic kids. They're
No. You
Yeah.
put in the work. 5 years. They got to watch their old man grind and grind and grind. And they're going to live a different life because of the work you did, man.
Yeah. My daughter just told me this morning that she paid off her debt, her student loan debt, yesterday.
Woo!
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
This is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Well done, Daryl.
Thank you.
Very well done. We've got a copy of the brand new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, for you. You will be one very, very soon if you're not already. And you're on your way. Get that house paid off next and keep filling up the 401k. It is, as he said 5 times, a process.
It's a process.
Yeah, I love it. And also a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away and disturb someone with. That's our goal, to create a holy ruckus out there, man. So, hey, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Dr. John.
So proud of you. All right, Daryl from Indiana, $137,000 paid off in 56 months, making 68 to 79. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free.
Yeah! Woo! So the interesting thing about this is, we discovered early on at Ramsey that personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. That's why the work that you do works so well with the work that we were already doing here. It's a natural overlay, a natural discussion that we always have here. And having said that, Daryl just reminded us several times that this is math.
Just follow the plan.
If you just do the math, the bridge will not fall down.
Just follow the plan.
If you're an engineer, if you just do the math, you will get the result. And it is math. And math is not racist, and math is not sexist, and math does not have PTSD. It's math, and math works in California, believe it or not. And math works in Tennessee, and math works in Texas. It's math.
Yeah.
So do the freaking math. Do the behaviors that cause the math to occur. That's the process.
Just follow the process.
And when you do that, you not only get out of debt, but you put yourself in a position that you've changed your family tree. And, oh, by the way, you've got 3 beautiful grown children watching you, hero, watching your character, watching the kind of man you are, and you are forming their adult patterns as their young adults.
And that will form their kids and their kids.
You are changing your family tree.
That's exactly right.
This is The Ramsey Show. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. Liz is with us in Chicago. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so I am on baby step 2, and I'm listening to currently the Baby Step Millionaires, and I guess I have been focusing on baby step 2 for so long that I never really focused on 4 through 7. And in it, 15% of your income should be going towards retirement. And I was just doing the math, and 15% of my income now is going towards baby step 2. So I can't wrap my head around how I'll have extra when I start investing for college and paying off the mortgage.
Well, you're not gonna. You may not have a lot extra. What's your income?
Okay. Combined $75,000.
Okay. How much is your house payment?
$1,759.
How much?
$1,759.
Okay.
Including our escrow and everything.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think you're going to be okay.
A little above.
Yeah, I think you're going to be okay. I mean, you're on the budget you just gave me. You should be able to. We're talking about investing about $10,000 a year, about $800 a month, and on $75,000 a year without any payments but a $1,700 house payment. I think you can do that.
I feel like we're just really tight.
Well, you're not supposed to be doing it right now. You have to get rid of the debt.
No, I know. I'm just kind of thinking ahead.
And you just started.
I'm the nerd. I know. Well, Unfortunately, I'm not start. Had a lot. I've actually spoke with you before. We had a lot of debt going into baby step 2. So I'm like 83% of the way done.
Yeah, I think you need to worry about baby step 4 when you get there.
Okay.
Let's just worry about getting out of debt right now.
Okay.
You're super nerding yourself into worrying.
I am.
You're worrying about something that's not happened yet.
Yeah, you're going to be okay.
Well, that's what I do all the time.
I know, you're going to be okay.
Okay.
Live for today. In this, I don't say live for today, you don't plan ahead, but be present in this moment right here.
Emotionally, you have paid off a big pile of debt already.
Yes.
You're going to finish that. You're going to breathe deeper than you breathe right now. Nothing's standing on your lungs anymore. And you'll be able to, and it just, so when you get to baby step 4, it's a different, your body feels different.
So let's unpack that. She's been terrified. Her body has been on red alert, knowing they are not safe.
Well, you borrower slave to the lender.
That's exactly right.
And this was a nasty butt master.
And so now she's realizing, oh, we're about to get close, and her brain goes to search for the next problem to solve and to defend from. And when you get this thing paid off, you go, oh, okay. And then your brain can realize we're safe. Your body realizes we're safe.
And then we've got an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. We're really safe. And then the big bad wolf comes outside your brick house.
That's right.
And you go, oh, little puppy, what's your problem?
Or where you're not running for your life, you may look in the mirror and say, I think I want to make more than $35,000 a year.
I think I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff, and you're going to do what? I'm in a brick house. Shut up.
I'm going to get another job or whatever. So, get through this process first.
Yeah, you're going to be okay. You're going to be just fine. As a matter of fact, you really are, because of the way you've described the situation, and John talks about this a lot with stress and anxiety and other things, you, in your case, are really going to physically feel different.
Yes.
Now, different people do different things, but you can, there's a, I don't know, a tightness across your back or whatever it is, and I've experienced it. And when it's gone, it feels like a 300-pound, monkey got off your back, right?
Hit send on that draft on Monday. I'm feeling it over the course of this week come off, right? And I know it's happening, and Sheila pats me on the back and says, is it still coming off? I'm like, yeah, it'll get there.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. We're done now. We're done now. Right. It's okay. It's okay. No tigers. No tigers.
No tigers.
Calm down. Calm down. It's okay. No tiger going to eat you. Yeah, that's that. But your body, it does that. I mean, you get amped up, man. You stay in this constant amped up, I'm going to kill something stage.
You move to the next thing to worry about.
And that's the gazelle intensity. And
that's
I told you to do that.
Right.
It's
important.
It's the best way to get out of the thing, is to run for your freaking life. But then when you get to the other side, you take a breath. And you go from intense to intentional. And that's a different place to be. Brian is with us in Chattanooga. Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
All right, I got some questions about giving. We're currently on baby step 4, 5, and 6.
Good.
And we're budgeting what we give to the church. Have been for a while now.
Good.
And situations came up where we have an opportunity to give outside of the church. And I'm wondering, should I take that money away from the church that I had budgeted, or how am I supposed to work this together? Not just for this situation, from here on out.
How much are we talking?
Does that make sense? It's like $500, $600.
Okay.
My buddy got kicked out of a house, and I'm trying to get him a hotel. I got him a job, and I'm really just trying to help him, just show him love.
Yeah, I suspect you got $500.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, then give him $500.
Okay.
This ain't rocket science, man.
Yeah.
I just didn't know about budgeting.
Now, if you want to talk philosophically and step back and go tactically, I want to be prepared for this ongoing. I'll answer your other question, but in this guy's case, just give him. If you got the money, just shut up and do it. Now, we budget. Sharon and I do, in our family foundation and in our personal budget, for a certain amount of pocket money. Just when we see something and God says that's yours to take care of, I just put you here for this. And you just kind of have that feeling run down the back of your neck, and you go, yeah, that lady, I'm supposed to do that right there. I'm supposed to buy those groceries. And you just do it. And you don't think anything about it because you got an extra little bit of pocket money. So I carry a little bit of extra just slush money for that, just because it's stinking fun.
We actually budgeted my fund money.
Okay.
In my spend money in my house, me and my wife, I put it in, she puts it in you can go buy something with it, or you can pick up somebody's groceries.
Yeah, and we just do stuff. I mean, that way you're just in a position to do that. And we put another zero on it. We keep a little extra over in the family foundation budget to do some stuff like that as well. But in your case, the other question is, give to the church. I'm an evangelical that believes in tithing. I give 1/10 of my income to my local church, and that's really not part of this equation. That's just a baseline. I do that, and then everything else I do in addition to that. And so, you would have, for instance, a spontaneous giving line in your budget, and you would have your tithe line in your budget if you were doing it the way I do. and that's fine. If you're not a tither and you don't believe in tithing to your local church, then that's the thing. But the way you said, I give to my church, I'm anticipating that that's what you were doing, or that's the type of thing you were doing. But no, I wouldn't take it out of, I don't take it out of my tithe. I don't go, well, I gave some money to this single mom, we bought her a car, and so we don't have to put it in the tithe. No, I don't do that. That's the church. If the church can do that with the money I tithed, if they want, but if we're going to do it over here, that's separate. I've got this baseline rhythm in my life, this groove in my behavior pattern that's consistent, that just it baselines the generosity, and then from there, there's other kinds of generosity that shoots out of that, but I don't dip down into that to keep from having to do other. Does that make sense?
That's absolutely. And you said it, man. If you keep a little extra money in your wallet, there's not a lot of things more fun than just grabbing somebody's gas at a gas station, or it's just out of the blue, and you just watch people's eyes get wide. I don't know, that makes me feel good, man. It's one of my favorite things to do.
It's about the most fun you'll ever have with money. I mean, like go bananas on a tip or something. Like make the tip 6 times the bill or something. Just to be messing with somebody, just because you had a feeling that needed to be done right there.
That's right. Yeah.
And I
pay attention to those feelings. I like that.
That's why it's not our money. We're managing it for God.
Yeah.
And I think He smiles a lot when we do stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
And so do the rest of us. So it's fun. It's fun. So you're a good man. You're a good man, Brian. Thanks for taking care of your buddy.
Give him $500, dude.
Yeah, like in the next 20 minutes. Do it right now. Yeah. Thanks for the call. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to John Deloney, to Ben, and to Kelly, and to James in the booth. I am Dave Ramsey, your host, and we will be back.
It's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, is my co-host today. You can join us here on The Ramsey Show as we talk about your relationships, your work, your money, and you. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. This is launch week for our new book called Baby Steps Millionaires. And a bazillion of you have bought the book. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. This is become quite a little hot seller. Thank you. Man, it's gone bonkers. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth, and how you can too. Now, we launched this book in the middle of a society where a portion of the people are out there, I call them hope stealers. Their job is to steal your hope. Their job is to tell you that the society, the culture, the country that we live in is so broken that the little man can't get ahead. You stand no chance unless you inherit it from a rich uncle. You can't make it. We need socialism. We need wealth redistribution. Wealthy people are evil anyway.
Correct.
And so they should be punished.
Continue.
And, these hope stealers are everywhere. And James, our producer, handed me a sheet a minute ago. This is so interesting. Farhad Manjo, I guess that's how it's pronounced. I may have messed up your name there, sir. I apologize. Has a whole section in the New York Times on abolishing millionaires. $1 billion is wildly more than anyone needs, even accounting for life's most excessive lavishes. It's far more than anyone might reasonably claim to deserve, however much he believes he has contributed to society. Billionaires should not exist. When American capitalism sends us its billionaires, it's not sending us its best. It's sending us people who have lots of problems, and they're bringing problems with them. They're bringing inequality. This from a guy who is a reporter with student loan debt from his journalism degree. But this is, this is the ultimate tall poppy syndrome. The poppy sticks up its head above the others. It must be cut down. And so we're supposed to be jealous and envious to evil ideas, to evil character traits of anyone who is one with money. Money is evil, money is bad. If you get money, you are evil and you are bad, and you should have it taken away from you and given to someone else so that they are evil and bad, I guess. I never thought about that part.
Yeah, I don't.
But if we give it out, is it not a problem for the poor people that get it? I mean, if it's bad, maybe we should just centralize it with a few people and destroy them instead of giving it to other people. That's kind of illogical. The critical thinking breaks down on this, doesn't it? Mr. Buffett is actually the most dangerous kind of billionaire we have, this guy says. The worst billionaires are good billionaires, the sort who make it seem like the problem is the distortion of the system, when in fact the problem is the system. There should be no way that anyone has $1 million or $1 billion in America. These are the voices that are out there. Now, I'm old. When I was young, we called those communists.
What's that? Who didn't want
people who act this way, that say these kinds of things. This is straight up Marxism. I mean, it's, but this idea, and of course, AOC's policy advisor, Dan Riffle, comes out and contends that every billionaire we have is because there's a policy failure. The acquisition of that much wealth has bad consequences, and a moral society needs guardrails against it. See, that's straight up Marxism.
So let's take, I'm just thinking of the first guy that popped into my head. Everybody's favorite target, Elon Musk, comes up with a cool computer program and sells it for a lot of money. That helps a lot of people do a lot of things. Then he develops a car and a battery.
But here's the thing.
What's the inherent evil there? I'm perplexed by the argument.
Well, it is not. It's not logical. It's not critical thinking skills. Marxism never is. So what ends up happening is that the whole thing is about vilifying wealth and the wealthy.
Okay.
So that we can do a power grab and move the money around and get credit for it. It's a power grab thing. And that's generally what is at the core of Marxism or these kinds of things all along. So here's what actually happens, though, in the real world.
Okay.
Not in these people's little fairy tale minds that they have. In the real world, the most generous people on the planet are the wealthy. No, really. This is actual data, not theory, not political rhetoric that's trying to beat a drum, but the actual data says that wealthy people feed more starving children than not wealthy people do.
88% gave to a charity in 2020.
88% of affluent households donated in 2020. In a year with a global pandemic and other crises where people were scared to death, there was a record of philanthropy.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 households. This study of a survey of 1,626 households with a net worth of $1 million or more. Millionaires, there they are again, excluding the value of their primary residence, which means they're worth more than $1 million, considerably. Annual household income of $200,000. These were the people studied. Of them, they gave 88% of them donated to charity.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that everything we get our hands on about it says that they not only donate to charity, they consistently donate to charity, and it is substantial.
Yeah.
But yet they are, by Marxist journalism student at the New York Times, are evil rich people. And everyone knows that a camel can't get through the eye of the needle, so we know that rich people aren't going to heaven.
Right.
According to atheists who misquote Scripture and don't understand it on Twitter. Right?
I don't know. I know some believers that quote that too. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But they're ignorant of the They need to work on their Bible study skills, and so because it's a problem. Because here's the thing: that is actually, when you take that stance as a Christian, that's actually Gnosticism, which is a first century form of heresy. Let me walk you through this, okay?
Yeah.
If rich people can't get to heaven, if that's your conclusion of that scripture because you didn't read it in context and you didn't finish reading Jesus' words afterwards, which if you do, it explains it away and you understand what's going on. But if rich people can't get to heaven, that means that the work that Jesus did on the cross and shed his blood is not strong enough to cover rich people.
There's an exemption there. Yeah.
That's called heresy. In doctrinal studies.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a type of heresy, and it's called Gnosticism.
Gotcha.
And so, you little socialists who go, rich people can't get into heaven, you're actually heretics.
The idea that you dismiss somebody out of hand, their character, who they are, based on their net worth, seems like it seems like the lowest form of critical insight.
Kind of feels like there's an agenda.
It's just so reductive and dismissive.
I might join Rachel Cruz in a conspiracy theory.
Nope, she's in a league of her own, Dave.
No, she is in a league of her own, for sure. Wow. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Thank you for joining us, America. This is The Ramsey Show. We're so glad you're here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. It's launch week for the new book, Baby Steps Millionaires. Thank you to all of you who have purchased it. We appreciate that. You can get it anywhere great books are sold. It's in Target and Sam's. It's in Barnes & Noble. It's everywhere. Certainly at RamseySolutions.com as well. And if you want to join in on this whole wealth building movement and become one of those evil rich people we were talking about, we want to show you how. And we're going to do that tonight. Rachel Cruz, George Camel, and I will be doing a live event here in just a few hours, 7 o'clock Central Time here in Nashville. We've got about 1,600 folks in the sold-out event space itself. In addition to that, we will, of course, have it streaming live online for those of you that want to do that. And it's completely free online. And so we would love to have you join us. Just go to RamseySolutions.com/wealth, put in your email, and you can join the online streaming for free. If you don't like the event, we'll give you half your money back. So check it out. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. John Deloney and I will help you out. Victor's in San Jose. Hi, Victor. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Dave, good afternoon. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Dave, I wish I got on your plan a few years ago. I'm a new listener, and the plan that I've had for myself is very muddy and cloudy. And so I'm starting to like your plan, and I hope I'm going to get some insight here.
Hey, talk directly into your phone, brother.
Hey, you're muffled like crazy. You need to speak directly into the phone.
Right into the phone there. There you go.
Yep, sorry.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we make quite a bit of money, over $300,000 a year. And with tax deductions and all sorts of benefits that we pay for out of that and saving for retirement, we take home roughly $200,000. And so then I started doing a whole lot of things, and maybe I took on too much. So the fundamentals here, I have about $80,000 in savings. I have $200,000 in a 401k. I have $30,000 in a Roth, $42,000 in an index fund, S&P 500. And I've got a house mortgage for $365,000. Which
all right, dude, listen, let me stop you a second. I apologize, but we can't do your whole financial plan.
No.
What's your question?
So my main question was I took on 2 rentals that I have a mortgage on. And the idea was that I would keep these for 15 years, and they would pay for my kids' college.
Cool.
Fund.
Good.
And I've got a mortgage on them. They cash flow positive to pay that mortgage, but I'm not sure if that's a great idea yet. And I've got these index fund, $42,000 sitting there that I also was going to use as a liquid fund for kids' college or whatever is needed 15 years down the line.
Okay,
I'm
going to back you all the way up and pan out to clarify. You said you've got this murkiness because there's too many things going in too many directions. So let's just streamline it right down the baby steps. So make sure you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses setting liquid in a simple savings account. Don't touch that for anything. That's just for emergencies. Make sure you're debt-free, but your house. I think you are based on what you're saying. You're making really good money. Then at baby step 4, you need to be putting 15% of your household income into retirement. You're putting some of your money into retirement. You talked about the difference in your 300 down to 200, so I don't know exactly what that number is, but go back and recalculate and make sure you are putting 15% of your income into retirement. Baby step 5 is kids' college. 6 is pay off your home as quickly as you can. And so you've got some rentals that you're thinking you might use for the kids' college. You might do some other things. So I'm taking the 42 out of the index fund. I'm taking some of the money out of the 80,000 sitting in savings. I'm going to set some aside for that 3 to 6 months of expenses. I'm going to throw the rest of it at your personal mortgage. When your mortgage is gone, then we'll reach over and start paying off those rentals. And so let's get the mortgage knocked out and then start paying off the rentals as fast as you can. And just direct your cash flow at those things instead of dispersing it across so many different things, because what you're realizing is that by spreading out the focus, by not having any focus, the money loses its power. When you focus it and narrow it down and rifle it rather than shotgun it, it'll go a lot further, a lot faster, much like a rifle versus a shotgun does. And so that's what you've got to do here, and that's the beauty and the clarity of these baby steps and walking them that way. Hang on, man. I will send you a copy of the new book, Baby Steps Millionaires. It'll talk about what I'm talking about here and exactly how to do it to turn what you're doing into millionaire status. But the clarity is what you're missing. You're all over the place with it. And you're right. You self-diagnosed that really well.
Yeah.
So,
and man, you'll sleep better.
Yeah.
You'll just sleep better. You live in that chaotic life. Everything's everywhere. You'll just have a more peaceful life.
And when there's a circus going on in your brain, it's hard to sleep. I mean, that's normal. Adam's with us in Orange County. Hi, Adam. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I had a quick question for you. We're following your program. We've been saving for the last 5 years to buy a house. We put a big down payment on. We got into a house. And my company just got recently acquired by a private equity firm, and I've been gifted some shares to the company. But then I also have an opportunity to be a co-investor into the company. And my kind of decision...
Nah. I don't want to be a minor stockholder with a private equity firm being the dog. I'll pass. You got no control. You have no reporting. You have no liquidity. You're going to get you got as good a chance of getting your head taken off as you do making money here. It's a very, very high risk play. Very high risk play. I wouldn't do it. I mean, and I get the opportunity to do stuff like that every day, and I don't do it. And I've got the ability to lose the money and still be okay, and I don't do it. It's an uber high risk play. Now, if I were the private equity firm and I could control everything, then I might do it. But the fact you got no control, you're sitting in a minority stockholder position, they can just vote crap going on there that you don't want anything to do with, and they run the company poorly, they run it in the ditch, they can sell it off for pennies on the dollar because they lose patience with the deal, and you go with them on the ride and you don't get any choice. So, nah.
Yeah, it's like getting in the back seat when you're a freshman and your brother's a senior and all his friends are too, and you're going wherever they're going to go.
Well, and they've been drinking heavily.
And they've been drinking too. That's right. That's exactly right.
There's that, yeah. Max is in New York. Hey, Max, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure, man. What's up?
So I am 23 years old. I have about $70,000 in student debt, $71,000. I made a risky investment into NFTs, lost about $15,000.
Well, let me stop you right there. You can't lose money on NFTs. They're a foolproof way to become a billionaire, right?
I thought everybody made money on Bitcoin and NFTs. What happened?
NFTs are the future, Max.
I'm wondering the same thing. Yeah, you'd think so.
You would think so if you read Reddit.
You lost $15K?
$15K.
And you're 23 years old with $70,000 in credit card debt.
Gosh, how quickly did that go away, man?
Like 20 seconds.
Probably about a month. And it's not credit card debt. $71,000 in student loan debt.
I know. Did I say credit card debt? I'm sorry. You did say student loans. I heard you, but I just said it
Max,
wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm poking at you, but I'm sorry. That's a hard loss.
We get trashed all the time for telling people not to do this, and then here calls a guy 23 years old. This is why we tell people not to do it. Just exactly what happened to you. So you put $15,000 real money into this. Where'd you get $15,000?
I make $90K a year.
Good. Okay.
So
let me just tell you, I think this is absolutely wonderful.
The best thing that ever happened to you.
You're not 83, you're 23, and you already got one level of stupid out of the way. You'll never do this again, will you? Man,
No,
you just
never.
paid $15,000 in stupid tax that you will never pay again.
That when you ROI
I did the
on
same
that?
thing when I was your age, Max. I lost $5,000 in 26 minutes on a gold future. This guy was never. He hit everything on gold futures. I put money on gold future. It just evaporated. I had to go home and tell my wife, and she looked at me like the idiot that I was. I was 24 years old.
The ROI
You're
on that
23.
$15,000.
You know what? I have never lost another dime on a future either, by God. You get it out of the way when you're 23. It's awesome, man. You make $90,000. You're a stud. Get on with your life. You're great. Never do it again. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions with a question, Joey from Chicago. Hi, Joey. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Dave and John?
Better than we deserve, brother. What's up?
So I had a question for retirement advice. I'm blessed to be part of a trade union, and I'm an electrician in Chicago, and so I've got a pension and annuity through that. And so as far as my take-home pay, that part that's withheld for retirement equals around 30%. So I was wondering, as far as like maybe additional investing, because you usually say kind of don't count that to the fullest when you don't have full control. I saw some things, I'm kind of got the eye for real estate like you do, and I saw some things where you can have a portion of real estate, kind of like a mutual fund works, where it's you invest in the company you invest with gets you portions of real estate and kind of invest that way.
Well, there are
those
several models of that. The most liquid and the most, meaning you can get your money back out, and the most stable and reputable version would be a REIT. a real estate investment trust, an REIT. And that is basically a mutual fund for real estate. And the better run REITs have gotten as good a returns as like a growth stock mutual fund would. So they're doing really well overall. And if you want to get in that way, that's not a bad place to play, given the way you've got the rest of your portfolio is out of your control, but it's over there, hopefully, in mutual funds with the union and everything, and in those annuities and all that stuff. So, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad way to do it. Now, there's other ways that you can buy portions into things, some limited partnership stuff and some other things. Those would probably scare me in your situation. So if I were in your shoes, I probably would do one of two things. I would either buy REITs, or I would buy REITs until I had enough money in that I could cash it out and just buy me a piece of real estate.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. I might do that and just call it all real estate as far as a category goes. That's not a bad idea at all, actually. It's a good way to get to the business and have your money in the real estate business. But the REITs early on, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they had a lot of heavy fees, and they were milking the properties with management fees before the money got to the investor, and so the returns weren't that great. But in the last probably decade or so, they've really become a valid, good long track record, well run. You can research them like you research a mutual fund. You can get with a SmartVestor Pro and pick one out, even that kind of a thing. But yeah, I think that would not be a bad idea at all. That's a good idea. I would not do limited partnerships. I wouldn't do partial things. Where you like 100 people are coming together and doing a deal. I wouldn't do that. That's more like that last guy that he's got a minority interest in a company, that kind of a thing. You get yourself in a pinch there. But the REITs are more mutual fundish, like in terms of how they operate, or then just pay cash for some real estate yourself. That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, brother.
Thanks.
Open phones at 888-825-5225. Gabriel is in Bozeman, Montana. Hi, Gabriel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm wondering if I should move to Texas. So the situation is that I am having difficulty finding a good job where I live right now. And currently I'm doing DoorDash to pay for everything. The thing that complicates that is that I recently got rear-ended, and the tow hitch of my car is broken.
Do you have a job lined up in Texas?
I do not.
Why Texas?
Yeah, what's going to be different about Texas than Montana?
So in Montana, it's really twofold, I guess. I also have difficulty finding apartments. So in the entire state, there's like 10 apartments available, right? And I
Gabriel.
think
Come on.
If I move, I want to move somewhere that I put.
If you want to move, that's fine, but you don't have to lie about Montana.
There's 10 apartments
in Montana. Come on, dude, really. I mean, you just said that out loud in front of everybody. Seriously. Okay, so if you want to move to Texas, I'm cool with that. Fix your trailer hitch and load up the truck and head to Beverly, man.
Right.
What's the hesitation? Why not just go? Fix your trailer hitch and go. What are we missing?
So I need to gather a moving funds. The hesitation there is that I have been considering for a couple of months, and I feel like I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger just yet. I mean, like you said, I don't have a job lined up. I need to make sure that I have that first if I am doing that.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
Okay. Where's your family live?
My family lives here in the state of Montana.
Okay. All right. Could you swing by there and camp for a little while and build up some money and get some family support before you head out? Or are you?
Yeah, that could.
Go ahead.
I think that's off the table right now. I've already lived under their roof for a little bit, and I'm pretty sure they made it clear that you're on your own now. I am currently living under a friend's guest bedroom for rent, which is around $300 a month.
So it sounds, Gabriel, it sounds like what you need, brother. It sounds like you got a lot of apprehension and a lot of things in your head and a lot of things floating around and a lot of uncertainty. Man, I really want you to get a buddy and y'all go out and grab some chips and queso and make a plan. Write this stuff down on a piece of paper. And it's going to get it out of your head and get it from all over the place, man, because you've got a lot of fear built up. Do you have some mental health challenges you struggle with?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
Do you have some mental health challenges that you struggle with?
No.
No?
No, I am struggling to make money, though. Okay. I'm making around anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, and I feel like I'm not able to pay off my debt with that amount of money.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't disagree with that. But there's a whole lot of bouncing around going on in our conversation with you.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to help you do is to settle down and streamline through a game plan here. Texas feels like it was just going to be the glory land where everything was going to be okay and everything was going to be different. The common denominator is it'd still be you.
Yeah. You go with you, brother.
And so you got to work on all that. So have you been a member of a good church?
I have not, no.
Okay. Do you have some of your dad's older friends that you trust to kind of coach you since the whole thing with your parents is not going that great?
Not really.
Okay.
So
I'd love to get somebody in your life that has their crap together that would sit down with you and kind of walk you through over some chips and queso, maybe more so than one of your buddies, that might kind of give you a little bit of coaching, a little bit of guidance, and tell you in love what they see and what you can do to get this stuff going. Because I don't think you are running to something in Texas. I think you're running from something, and I don't think you're going to find it there.
You absolutely will not. Yeah.
You asked, brother, and we're obligated to tell you because we love you. Yep. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is Proverbs 10:4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the best lightning rod for your protection is your own spine. Ooh, I've never heard that.
Wow.
The best lightning rod for your protection is your own spine. Boom. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, Blinds.com gives us our question of the day. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. With free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. It's a great American company, the place to get your window blinds for sure. Blinds.com. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Sarah in Canada. My husband and I earn about $5,000 a month and we're $30,000 in debt. We've been looking for a new rental situation, which is challenging in the current market. Out of the blue, one of my husband's clients offered to let us live in one of her homes for $500 a month. My husband will still get paid normally when doing work for her. She is a real rags to riches story and is incredibly generous. And for the first time, we don't have to be scared about whether we can make rent or bills, and our debt will be paid off quickly. My question is this. When you've always been treading water to keep your head just barely above it, how do you learn to kick back and float? How do you let yourself feel safe and breathe for the first time in years? There's a lot in this question, Dave. Here's my thoughts off the top of my head. There is a difference between letting yourself feel safe and breathing and kicking back and floating.
Agreed.
And if you kick back and float, you will never feel safe and you will never be able to breathe. And so I don't want you to ever, quote unquote, kick back and float. I wish there was a sexier way to say this, but you got to practice. You got to practice reminding yourself. You and your husband come up with new words that you give for each other when the other person's starting to get amped up, and you say, hey, let's take a breath. My wife and I did this for years. Anybody healing from trauma does this. You practice it, and you call it out with each other, and over time, your body adjusts to being safe. And I'll also tell you, if you're living in a special rent situation, you're not safe. You got to save up some money and get yourself your own place, because this isn't going to be this way forever. That's my thoughts.
So when we're coaching people with their money, and they're in a highly stressed out, freaked out, they're behind on their bills, their car's about to be repoed, they got a lot of debt, if the first 10 years I did it, it caught me off guard. It would catch me off guard. It no longer does, just because of experience, that when people start doing a budget and then they use the money that they've got and they say, we've got this much money, and on this date we'll have that fixed, on that date we'll have that fixed, on that date we'll have that debt paid off, on that date we'll be debt free, on that date we'll have our emergency fund, based on projecting the budget that's in front of me, and they do their budget for the first time and they're able to extrapolate their future, none of the work is done. Their situation has not changed. Only their ability to see their way out of their situation with a system has changed. That is where you can breathe and feel safe. And their stress level goes down 90% just by laying out the freaking plan.
There's some research that says people, with the moment you make your first counseling appointment, you start to feel better.
Well, and people cancel their counseling appointment.
Because they feel better.
Yeah, they feel better. Like they have a big fight, book a marriage counseling appointment, and then they make up.
And then they don't get the help they need.
And they don't get the help. And they cancel the appointment. It happens all the time. Yeah. The same thing happens. When you do a budget, even though you still have your bills are out there screwed up, everything's still up in the air. It's still a mess. But now you can see how you're going to get out. The stress level drops 90%. And that's when you can breathe and feel safe. So you need to project this temporary rent situation that you have out and say, we're going to be out of debt here, and we're going to move out of this voluntarily before the generosity of the sweet lady runs out, and you change your narrative about the way you look at her, because suddenly she actually wants to collect rent. And so
and all that's different than kicking back and floating.
Yeah,
doing
but you
nothing,
feel
right?
safe because of your plan. You breathe because of your plan, because you can we have a thing we're doing here. We're working the baby steps. We're on a budget. We can see the progress. We can see a future that is bright. There's a vision for our life, and your stress level goes down, and you breathe and feel safe. But you're not kicking back and floating. You're busting it with great intensity.
That's right.
So yeah, I agree with you to separate those two statements, and I think you're wanting something you should probably never get, which is to do nothing.
Don't ever
want to do nothing.
Strive to do nothing.
Yeah.
Resting is not nothing. Resting
there's
is
no
not
joy
neutral.
in it. There's no joy in it.
You got to rest, and rest isn't. That's not what we're saying. And you got to sleep. It's not what we're saying. Those are critical parts to being well. But you got to be intentional about rest. You got to be intentional about sleep.
You feel safe and breathe while you're getting crap done.
Absolutely. That's how you feel safe, is having purpose and working towards something.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point. There's this empty nothingness thing. I mean, these chambers that they've got at these things now, where you can go float. And all that stuff. Yeah. It's that is not. I mean, it's fine to do, and I'm not mad at it. It's nothing like that.
It's not a way of life.
But you don't want your life to be that.
No.
You want your life to be, I'm climbing a mountain.
And
my life is, I'm going on a hike.
Me and Pat Lencioni were talking about that. Our whole culture's set up for that. The goal is
to do nothing.
To do nothing. To get to the end of the day and sit in your recliner and kick it back so you can do nothing.
No.
What a lame, terrible life.
Which is why people die right after they retire.
Or they die all the way their working life.
That's even worse. Josh is in Chicago. Hey, Josh, how are you?
Hey, guys. How are you doing today?
Great, man. What's up?
Just had a quick career question that I've been struggling with. So a little bit of background. 3 years ago, because of a retinal disease that I was diagnosed with when I was a baby, it started kind of going crazy on me, and since then I've been losing vision. And at this point, I'm blind, for lack of a better diagnosis. My problem is I've been looking for work, and I'm struggling to find a company or a specific job role that enables me to use computers and programs with a screen reader technology that blind users use. So I guess I'm just wondering do I think about making a career path change?
What were you doing? What's your career?
Stuck. So before all this happened, I worked at a small business. I was a marketing and sales manager on top of doing customer service. I wore a lot of hats there. And then
so what would you do? What would you do if you could do anything using this computer program to aid you in doing the thing? What would you do?
I've been asked this a couple times since like the beginning of the year, and I keep falling back on something customer service related. I love working with people. I love trying to understand where they're coming from. And that's where I feel like I would succeed the most, especially, having a disability. I would want to set myself up to grow within a role and an industry. And, that's where I'm at. Yeah. I can't really think of anything else I would love to do.
In addition to continuing your job hunt using all the Ken Coleman tools, the first thing that pops into my mind, because it always pops into my mind because I'm an entrepreneur, is what could you do that you own it with a computer in your living room? And you could control all the variables and control your destiny a whole lot more in that setting than being dependent on someone else to make a way for you to be able to work in their organization. I don't know.
Have you contacted DARS in your local community, the Department of Assisted and Rehabilitative Services?
Yeah, so I'm actually working with a recruiter.
Okay.
There's a program through Social Security called Ticket to Work, and it basically sets you up with a recruiter who is familiar with working with people with disabilities, and there's job coaching.
But that's different than DARS will help you with the computer programs, depending on your state. Like they'll help you with the software to get you the microphones, the tech, that kind of stuff that you need, and that can be a real gift to rocket launch you out into your career.
Man, I'm proud of you. You got a lot of courage facing this down. You're going to get there.
You're going to help a lot of people too.
You're going to turn into something really important. Don't. This is going to be amazing when we hear the end of your story, or hear further down your story. Thanks for calling in. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.